first thing up, we got modern animes that will be classics by Pave Lover. Let's see what he's talking about.
Classic anime. Those are series that came out years ago and were so good that we still watch them to this day. Stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Death Note, or even...
So, like, how many anime do we think he's gonna put on here that, like, y'all think I'm not gonna agree with? I feel like there might be like 2 or 3 that he thinks that's gonna be classic that I don't agree with.
The original Naruto. I am so old. But what about the stuff that's coming out now? What modern anime are so genuinely amazing that people will still be watching them in years? Today, I'm gonna try to...
I don't think it's about being amazing. I think it's about being popular. It's about having a legacy. Like, Dragon Ball Z is, like, respectfully, like, not the most amazing anime ever, but it has the best legacy of every anime to ever do this shit. So I think, like, it's more about popularity and, like, you know, what your anime did.
Predict which anime from the last decade will become certified classics.
Attack on Titan definitely will be. There's no question. I think
there's honestly no better place to start this list than with Attack on Titan. There are a couple of anime out there that become so popular, they make it into the mainstream. And even though it's kind of difficult to point to a single series that made anime as popular as it is today, if I had to choose one, it would definitely be Attack.
I wouldn't say Attack on Titan made anime popular. That's not a good take. That's not a good take. But I would say Attack on Titan got a lot of normies. It got a lot of people into anime because, like, most people didn't start with Attack on Titan. Like, in the COVID era, the first anime that they picked up wasn't Attack on Titan. So it's like it kind of reinforced, like, people who kind of like they felt like they liked anime, and then they watched Attack on Titan and they're like, oh yeah, this anime shit is 10 out of 10.
The epic scale of the battles, the complexity of the story, the insane character development, and the genuine fear you felt watching it. All of this is packaged in some of the best animation from...
Full Metal Alchemist got me into anime, but, like, yeah, you know, like, when did you get into anime though? Like, we're not talking about people that have been watching anime for 10 years. You know, like, we're talking about people that, like, just got into it recently or, like, around COVID.
From some of the best studios out there. I mean, this thing completely changed what everyone expected from anime. People who had never even touched that stuff before thought this was some of the coolest stuff they'd ever seen. Attack on Titan is kind of the series that proved anime could be this really cool piece of mainstream entertainment while simultaneously having this interesting story that wasn't just for kids or hardcore viewers. Listen, there are a lot of masterpieces that aren't on this list because I just don't think they'll hit the same in 10 or 20 years. But Attack on Titan is definitely not one of them. I mean, to this day, there are still memes of this series, and that's usually the sign of a timeless piece of fiction.
I'm not gonna lie, that's an okay point, but, like, in the anime scene, there's gonna be memes of everything, to be honest. They started with JJK most likely, or Demon Slayer. Yeah, exactly. JJK, Demon Slayer, even My Hero. Around COVID time, even My Hero got a lot of niggas in the anime. So, like, Attack on Titan, like I said, I feel like that was, like, the second step. Like, they got in with Demon Slayer or My Hero, and then they was like, what else is super popular? Attack on Titan. They watched Attack on Titan, they were hooked. So I think, like, it definitely deserves a spot. It will be a classic in 10 years, no doubt. Absolutely. I don't know about this one.
From being a generational banger, Cyberpunk Edge Runner...
Look, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is great, but, like, a classic? Ooh, that's a... Look, I respect this. I respect it, nonetheless. Like, I think it's good. This is a great anime. It could be mean, but it's still not popular. I mean, Psyche K memes sometimes. That's what I'm saying. Like, anime scene stays having memes, bro. Like, they pick memes from the most random shit. So just because you see an anime being memed doesn't mean shit.
There's also that's something that I had never seen before. The thing you need to know about this anime is that it was an adaptation of the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. And trust me, when this game came out, it was full of bugs, it didn't work, and people just kind of hated it. But then the creators decided to turn this world into an anime, and bam, people loved it. It was so good that everyone...
Alright, wait, what? Like, you missing some things with Edge Runners, right? I mean, with Cyberpunk. First of all, Cyberpunk did come out with a bunch of fucking bugs. Niggas didn't like it, but they fixed their shit. Cyberpunk the IP was already super popular before Edge Runners came. It was already popular before the IP Edge Runners. So like don't say it like Cyberpunk was a flop and then they turned to anime and then Edge Runners made Cyberpunk a well known hit. Hell no. Cyberpunk was already a hit before Edge Runners came.
Kind of forgot about the failure of the game, which gave the studio enough time to work
The
on it
failure
and
of
turn
the
it
game
into the
is crazy.
Cyberpunk 2077 we know today, which is apparently amazing. But apart from, you know, having this amazing, beautiful story about the creation, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was also beautiful in every possible way. What really set it apart is how emotionally powerful it became in just, 10 episodes. More than most anime out there can do in hundreds. It won Anime of the Year, which makes it sorta hard not to put it on this list. But let's be honest, saying
So we just put an anime of the years on like a classic anime list. I feel like if I go look at the anime of the 2004, like it might not still be a classic. It might be known, but it's not like a classic.
that it wasn't incredible would just be kind of cap. Listen, I know it's cool to hate on Jujutsu Kaisen nowadays, but there is absolutely no amount of copium that could convince me this isn't a certified classic. JJK is going to be remembered as the series that took the modern shonen formula and perfected it completely. It brought this whole epic fighting thing, more than you could ever imagine, while simultaneously having this Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the only way JJK don't go down as a classic. This is glazed, but I respect it. Yeah, I respect it too. Well, look, the only reason JJK won't go down as a classic is just because like Mappa flops it. Like Culling Games is a flop. After Culling Games Part 2 is a flop, and Edge Runners is not a classic. Yeah, I mean I'm on the same page as you. I'm on the same page, but that's the only way JJK doesn't go down as a classic. I mean it's already been so popular and it's already had so much motion that it will 99.9% go down as a classic for sure.
Feeling where important characters
Unless
were
they
getting
sell it.
slain every couple of episodes, which felt really fresh and dark and cool. The journey hits all the classic shonen stuff you'd ever want, but the cursed energy power system, the moral complexity of the world, and the characters like Gojo and Sukuna, who became some of the most legendary anime characters in recent history. And I'm not even talking about the fact that almost every episode had fights that looked better than the best fights in most other series. If you put all of these elements together, it's honestly kind of impossible to say JJK won't be a classic. It doesn't really feel like it changed shonen anime forever like Chainsaw Man, for example, but it definitely feels like it pushed it to a peak. And just so you know, this series has 2 seasons and both of the seasons won Anime of the Year. So
You know what? I actually agree with this. That ass, because there's always a sports anime that goes down as a classic. There's always a classic sports anime. Now, like if Rick was here, he would probably say Ishida no Joe. Fuck no. The classic one, like, probably would be like Slam Dunk, some shit like that. So I feel like Haiku might go down as a classic sports anime just because it was popular in the West and it was popular in the East. Like it was popular everywhere. So I could definitely agree with that for sure.
sports is a massive category within anime, and Haikyuu is basically the series that took
Why
the
am I
genre
getting caught?
and perfected it. It took a pretty niche sport and somehow made it feel like the most epic thing ever. I mean, to this day, there are still a ton of videos of people talking about these inspirational Haikyuu moments. Even I started playing volleyball because of freaking Haikyuu. When a fictional sports anime genuinely inspires people to go out and play the actual sport in real life, you know you've achieved something truly special. This series gave awesome development to literally dozens of characters and multiple teams without any of them feeling—
No, it did. And like low-key, Haiku made me respect like how good character development is, because like there really is not like an anime that could like pick a random character in the anime and just give them the best character development and like 3 or 4 episodes or like minimal screen time. Like there's literally side characters and they just get some crazy character development and they end up doing some crazy shit that give you fucking chills. So like that, most I really do respect this. This is a good pick.
Like some random background character. Each character had their own personal motivations, their own fears, their own growth arc that mattered, which created this incredibly rich cast that made every single
Facts.
match feel very important. Honestly, I think there's a solid 100% chance that you would find at least one of these characters super relatable, even if you don't play any kind of sport. I strongly believe this is and will be the sports anime to dethrone for a long time.
I don't know. I feel like Dethrone is crazy. I feel like Blue Lock will be more popular. Just depends on like if the animation studio can get it together. Like it will be more popular, but I feel like Haiku will still be like that legacy classic anime though.
You might think it's
Fuck no. Hell no.
generic, you might think it's boring, you might even think it's bad. But when Demon
No,
Slayer...
look, I'll put some respect on Demon Slayer. Will it be a classic? I think Demon Slayer will be a classic like how Dragon Ball is a classic. Now, you might be like, "Oh, that's a crazy fucking take." But no. Like you got to realize Dragon Ball popularized anime back in the day and Demon Slayer repopularized anime for like us. Demon Slayer will be a classic just because how much of a important of a role that it played, you know, and getting a lot of people in anime. So it will 1,000,000% be a classic. Especially when these movies end up making $1 billion, there will be no conversation.
First came out, it felt like anime suddenly went into this whole new world of popularity. I mean, if you know people that don't like anime that much and they've maybe watched like one anime or something, there is a solid chance it was Demon Slayer. It became this massive series internationally in ways that most anime never even come close to. And honestly, I think Demon Slayer is great, but I'm not gonna lie, the biggest reason it's going to be a classic is the animation. And that's fine. The fact is, this thing completely annihilated animation standards for the entire industry. There have always been beautiful looking anime with incredible animation, but Demon Slayer just pushed the boundary so much and forced everyone else to step up their game. Without exaggeration, every single episode felt like a movie. I mean, even the last season, which is pretty much a bunch of nothing, looks like a movie. And you can truly see the impact it's had. In terms of animation, there was a before Demon Slayer, and now there is an after Demon Slayer. Free Ren is the highest rated anime of all time. So... No, I'm kidding. I mean, Free Ren is the highest rated anime of all time, but that's not the reason it's going to be a classic. Anime has pretty much always been dominated by these epic series where people fight and, you know, there are adventures and there's always just something happening. But sometimes you'll get these calmer series.
I don't know. I feel like Fear is gonna go down like maybe as like Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like that anime that older people talk about. Like, oh yeah, it was so great, but like the newer audience is never gonna watch it. They're never gonna have like they're gonna be like, oh, I'm good on that old shit. I feel like that's what Fearing is gonna be like in 15 years.
That
it's gonna be the Full Metal Alchemist, maybe like 10 years.
Except for Free Ren. The full title of the series is actually Free Ren Beyond Journey's End. And that's because it takes place after the journey has already ended. After the big adventure where the characters, you know, beat the big boss. Free Ren has this slower approach to storytelling that shouldn't have worked, but it absolutely did. The series actually took its time to let moments breathe and to explore everyday stuff. It wasn't slow just to be different. It was done on purpose to give you a completely different experience from anything out there. Honestly, if I describe this to someone, they'd probably think it sounds extremely boring until they actually put it on and realize that every single thing about it is perfect and their eyes are freaking glued to the screen. It's not always flashy or spectacular or epic, but Free Ren is undeniably a classic.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, you lost me. Look, you lost me here. You gotta do some explaining. You gotta do a whole lot of explaining if you think Promised Neverland going down as a classic, bro. Hell no. I can give you 5.
I want to be very, very clear here. Easily. I am talking about The Promised Neverland season 1, not season 2.
Bro, it doesn't matter. It don't matter what season you're talking about. The once season 2 came out, you might as well throw the whole thing in the trash, bro. You can't have one good season. We already know that's the case because Tokyo Ghoul. We already know we already know that. Tokyo Ghoul, Seven Deadly Sins, prime examples. 2 animes that will never go down as classics just because they had follow-up seasons that were dirt. Get this shit off the list.
One only. I can't really reveal what it's about, but I remember watching the first episode and just not being able to stop after that. Every twist was unexpected. Every jump scare was freaking terrifying. Every character was interesting. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of horror in general. I'm one of those people that'll watch a scary movie and literally think about it for weeks. But The Promised Neverland Season 1 is absolutely something I would rewatch. It was a masterclass that proved anime could deliver some incredible psychological thrillers. It created genuine tension and dread in ways that only some rare anime like Attack on Titan managed to. What made The Promised Neverland Season 1 genuinely special was its absolutely perfect control over pacing and how much information it gave you. It knew exactly when to drop important details, when to hold back, and when to deliver those shocking revelations that completely changed everything you thought you understood. If you're even a little bit kind of interested in thrillers or horror, watch it right now. This series is such a good way of getting into anime if you're interested in those genres, and it's definitely a classic in the making.
The venom from it won't hurt us
Classic in the making? No, it is not. No, it is not.
if we eat it.
Fantasy and cooking, a weird combination that somehow works, and I don't know why.
you
Delicious
started
in
to lose me a
Dungeon
little
is an
bit.
anime that grabbed two completely different genres and somehow fused them together so well that it created something genuinely unique and absolutely delicious. It approached fantasy world building by asking these questions that we always think about but we never really get a reply to. How do adventurers actually survive in these dangerous places? What does the ecosystem of a dungeon look like? It's funny, epic, scary, but most importantly, it is such a feel-good series. You can put this on whenever you're feeling a bit down or just chilling, and it will instantly bring a smile to your face. Delicious in Dungeon is the kind of anime that absolutely anyone can enjoy, and because of that, it's going to be remembered for a long time.
I have no
I mean,
enemy.
just because it's gonna be remembered don't mean it's gonna be a classic, bro. There's like plenty of 2000s anime that I remember. I wouldn't say it's a classic. You know, like it we like what's the line that we're drawing for a classic anime? Because you got Promised Neverland in this bitch. We're giving way too much grace. You're putting classic behind shit that should not should not have the word classic behind it.
Vinland Saga is one of the best pieces of storytelling in anime history, period. This anime brought literary quality to the medium while keeping all the cool visual stuff that makes anime awesome in the first place. Anyone who's a fan of history is going to enjoy Vinland Saga because of its insane commitment to authenticity. Honestly, I've never been a big Viking guy, but the attention to detail in this one is so strong I just couldn't stop myself from enjoying it. But the part that's truly awesome is the character development. Season 1 turns the main
Starting
character
to feel like this is this guy's favorite anime list. Like, I mean, he's got some solid shit on here that I can't argue. Like, Vinland Saga, like, you could definitely argue that in 10 years this would be a classic anime. Like, there's a lot of animes like that, but like when you start saying Promised Neverland and like Delicious in Dungeon, those are like Delicious Dungeon, great anime. Go down as a classic? I don't know. Promised Neverland, no universe has gone down as a classic. So
into this revenge-obsessed warrior, which is kind of your basic anime stuff. While Season 2 takes this incredibly risky step of completely changing the series from action-adventure to something way slower and more thoughtful. And trust me when I say that this was an incredible choice. It resulted in a character masterclass that unfolds over years. And on top of that, it has created some of the coolest villains in general. This isn't the most flashy anime on the list. In fact, it's probably the least flashy anime on this list. But the impact it had and is still having...
I don't know. Least flashy anime? I don't know. Vinland Saga Season 1 was definitely flashy. It was definitely flashy. And, you know, they stopped fighting Season 2, but Season 1, they were boxing in that bitch like almost every episode.
now easily makes it a future classic. And considering it single-handedly created one of the most wholesome trends with the "I have no enemies" line, I would say that's a pretty strong sign of how much impact it's going to have. When I watched Mob Psycho 100, I definitely didn't think of it as anything special. Kind of like Vinland Saga, it's way more low-key than all the other series on this list. But as I kept watching, it became pretty
I'm not gonna lie,
obvious.
this might be like a favorite anime list. Like, I mean, Mob Psycho, this is a great anime too, but like, I feel like that we're giving classic too much grace. We're giving classic too much grace. Like, nowadays, if you ask me what's a classic, there's only like 5 anime that's gonna come up. Like, the big 3, Dragon Ball, and like, maybe I would have to think about the last one. But there's not like 10 classic anime. Like, you know, there's good shit, but like, you know, you only got like five five to eight classics to me personally. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of weight behind the word classic.
Just how much love and
But I mean, like,
passion.
if it's just like anything that was good, any anime that was good when we were watching anime, then like you could throw a lot of shit on the list. There's a lot of good anime that came out in the last even 10 years. A shit ton of good anime.
Went to make
You could put anything
manga
on
was
this
originally
list.
drawn by one who's this amazing author with a very unusual art style. But when Studio Bones adapted his manga, instead of changing how it looked, they decided to go with this super simple style. And it just works. This series throws absolutely everything at you, from completely sketching looking sequences to beautifully animated fights to hilarious comedy moments. And it balances all of these things extremely well. Again, it's way more low-key than all the series here, but I still think that you'll have an awesome time watching it. It has this timeless quality of an anime you'll still be able to appreciate in 20 years and think, huh, that was pretty cool. It's simple, it's short, it's versatile, a future classic. Bleach is an anime that
No, I'm never hating on Bleach. I'm never gonna hate on Bleach.
actually ended almost 15 years ago after adapting approximately 2/3 of the manga. But after all this time, we were finally blessed with a new series, and trust me, the wait was so worth it. Listen, there's a reason every single episode has the ratings it has. It's because there is such an incredibly absurd amount of effort put into each one of them. You can just tell that the people who made this have a deep respect for the source material. They removed all the bad stuff from the original series and added way more of what made it amazing in the first place. Those intense action sequences and the memorable characters. And they did all that while updating the entire presentation for modern audiences. This anime somehow managed to deliver on literally decades of anticipation while somehow exceeding the expectations that hardcore fans had for years. Bleach: Thousand Year Blood War is one of the most successful anime comebacks in history. The original series is a classic now, and this new series will absolutely be a classic later.
I can agree with that.
Chainsaw Man didn't have the
can agree
mainstream
with this
impact
too.
of Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan, but it was pretty freaking close. This series took shonen tropes and completely destroyed them while simultaneously delivering all the chaotic insanity that makes
I think like Chainsaw Man gonna go down as a classic just because like the way that it changed shonen forever. Like so shonen is gonna be shonen is officially changed because of Tatsuki Fujimoto, what he did with Chainsaw Man. So like it's gonna go down as a classic just because of the impact it had, and plus because it has one of the best anime movies to ever do it. So
this genre amazing. In that sense, I think that both Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man perfected battle anime, but if I had to choose which of these two went in a more original direction, it would have to be Chainsaw Man. The cherry on the top was how MAPPA's animation brought Tatsuki Fujimoto's completely unique manga to life with his more cinematic style, a style that's slowly becoming the standard for a lot of anime. But what really pushes Chainsaw Man into future classic territory is how it was the start of this entire generation of new anime. I think it's kind of the reason a lot of series are going into this more mature and dark direction instead of the stuff we used to see like 10, 20 years ago. Listen, Chainsaw Man is not my favorite thing at all, but without exaggerating, it feels like a revolutionary series.
Alright, come on now. Well, like, look. I've given you props when you said good shit, and I've been on your ass when you said bad things, but there is no way we think Devilman Crybaby is a classic in 10 years.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really hesitating to put Dandadan here purely because of how insane and weird and colorful it is compared to pretty much
Nigga, Dandadan is most definitely a classic over fucking Devilman's Crybaby. Are we serious?
you know, everything out there. But then I remember that the same studio that made Dandadan also made another anime a couple of years ago, and that was Devilman Crybaby. Even though both of these series are massively different, I definitely think that Devilman laid the foundation for visually experimental anime like Dandadan. It looks and feels
I'm not gonna lie. Only probably 10% of the people that watch Dandadan have seen Devilman Crybaby. That gotta be a fact. So like I don't think that's too much of a factor.
Oh, weird compared to everything you can think of. And it also has this specific style of fluid animation that was really ahead of its time. These bizarre character designs, those bold color choices that jump at your eyeballs, and the extremely dark story that pushed the boundaries in ways that are still influencing animators and directors today. People either loved it or found it very disturbing, but it definitely left everyone feeling some kind of way. And after watching Devilman, you can sort of see the first steps of a lot of the stuff that's coming out nowadays. I mean, it's pretty telling that it won Anime of the Year. And even though it came out a few years ago, it still has a very unique feel that's going to be hard to replicate. And finally, I do not think there is a better place to end than with One Piece. In my eyes, the original anime is already a classic, but I genuinely think that we'll look
I think like One Piece, like here you can't put One Piece on this list because like that's like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Bleach. Like they're always gonna be classic. It's like I respected Thousand Year Blood War because like it's kind of different, but like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, those are gonna be classics forever. Like it's never gonna change. One Piece is not a modern anime. Like it's still like fucking old anime. Like you know they modernized it, but like most people still consider One Piece like a classic old anime.
back at this period of One Piece in like 10 years and also think of it as a classic. I mean, if it's over by then, I have no idea, honestly. It could be 20 more years, 30 more years. Oh my gosh, am I gonna be alive when One Piece is over? It's the perfect example of an anime that didn't just rely on its hardcore fans and nostalgia to stay relevant. This thing has been going on for over 1,000 episodes, and it has somehow managed to integrate every single thing that has made modern anime awesome-tacular. I know a lot of people are saying that One Piece is slowly getting worse and worse, but I just have to disagree. One Piece has genuinely maintained excellence over an impossible period of time, even though the series still has terrible pacing issues.
I'm not gonna lie, saying that One Piece has maintained excellence over as a crazy period of time. Look, this is where you One Piece fans start to lose me a little bit. We gotta be realistic. We can't act like the first 500 episodes of One Piece. Well, I'm not gonna say 500. That might be dramatic. We can't act like the first 300 episodes of One Piece are excellent because they are not. We gotta be realistic. Come on, we gotta be a little bit realistic.
They've managed to adapt it to modern audiences, and they've turned it into something that could easily compete against stuff that's been coming out in the last couple of years. I mean, the fact that I can talk to someone who started watching One Piece like 20 years ago and we can nerd out about an episode that came out like last week or something. I mean, if there's a sign of a classic, that's it, you know? Those are the modern anime that I'm absolutely convinced will be remembered in 10, 20, 30 years from now. When people ask what anime actually defined the 2010s, 2020s, these are the series we're going to remember. And I'll be standing there with my white hair saying stuff like, you know, "Ah, yes, that was a great time for anime."
I think like by the standard you have for like classics, like yeah, I mean I can't argue with most of these is because like basically you're saying like any good anime that came out in the early or the late 2010s is a classic, which I mean like I can't argue with that if that's like your definition of a classic. You know, like I said, I only got like 5 or 6 animes as a classic, so you know I got a lot more weight behind that title. But you definitely have some things on there that I would not say is a classic. Most definitely not. 0%. Great video though. So you liked the video? You'll like this one too. Go ahead and click on that. Yeah. You're still here? So you don't fuck with me? Alright, I'ma just.